Hi again. In the previous video, I've just shown you how to do frequency analysis. In this video, I'm going to show you another way to do frequency analysis, which is through the frequencies button under the analyze function. Both the frequencies or the descriptive function under the SPSS analyze button is doing very similar thing, eventually the same thing, but the output will be slightly different in terms of its presentation. Never mind, we can use any of them to do descriptive statistical analysis. And what we mean by descriptive statistical analysis, we're looking at mean value, median or mode, even maximum minimum value, standard deviation, variation, and those sort of things. So I'm back here again into the VSEC web link, and I entered my net ID and password. Then I'm going to directly go into my file. Connect. Yep. I save it as a file called demo. Excellent. So this is my file called demo. Everything is correct. Right. So in order to do the descriptive analysis, go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics. This time I'm going to use, you can use either frequencies or descriptives to produce mean, mode, median, standard deviation, variance. The results are very similar. I can show you quickly. Let's say you go to frequency and you are analyzing all these 11 variables. You can do mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, maximum, minimum. Continue. Let's say you use a paste function. You run it. This is the output, right? These are called the descriptive statistics: the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, etc. And these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The 11 variables that we measure in our survey. So the beauty about statistics is it gives you the summary. Only a single number for each of the things that we measure. You can look at the median, mode, mean, etc. It has a single number. So this is what we get. You can also do this descriptive statistics using the descriptive function. Let me try again. Shift all of them, bring it there. Same standard. This is the default. Yeah, mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, variance. That's it. Let's say I'm not interested in the other things. I just go to paste function. Here it is. So the result is the presentation of the table is slightly different, but here is presented in terms of the column. But we're in the previous approach using the frequencies function. This minimum, maximum, standard deviation, mean is shown on the rows rather than on the columns, right? But they mean the same thing. So when you say the number of a person joined literature training is 0.4.0, it means on average. On average, the respondents in your survey who are elderly have joined 4 times of a digital literature training program. So some people only join 2, which is the minimum number of people joining, and some people join 6 times, right? But the average value is here. The standard deviation is 1.2. Actually, the meaning of standard deviation and variance are very similar. It's about how far off each of the observation or each of the respondents from your mean value. Mean value is the average value, right? So this deviation, standard deviation is just a standard unit of how far your data is spread out. So the larger your standard deviation, let's say the standard deviation here is 3 point something, which means that some people may have joined a lot above the mean value, above 4. Some people may have joined much below 4. Right? See, because we have only minimum of 2 and maximum of 6, our standard deviation is also not too big. But if we have a minimum of 0 and maximum of 10, I'm sure the standard deviation will be much bigger. Right? And look at, that's the mean, right? So it shows you mean, median, blah, 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 blah. And I want to go back to the previous one, in which I get the other results that shows everything. So this is from the frequency. So the one just now is from the descriptive function. Now I'm going back to the frequencies function, which is this one, right? This one. I'm going to highlight it again, click it, and it will give me the menu, right? So I just talked about the mean, right? 4.0 for that variable called joint digital training. What about median? Let's say median for this one. Median is 3. So this is about the number of respondents who join inspirational talk. What is the median? Which means that when I order sequentially the number of times that respondents in this study have joined inspirational talk, and I pick one value exactly in that middle of that all of the number, that should be called the median value. Look at that. The maximum is 7, the minimum is 1. So 1 to 7, the number of people who have joined it. Some people have joined as little as 1, some join as little as much as many as 7 times, and the median is 3. So you put together all of them, some have 1 1, some have 2 2 2 2, and then you have 3 3 3 and 4 4. So a lot of them are in the median value is 3. Right? What about the mode? The mode is 3. It happens also the median is the median mode is the same, which means mode here means the most frequently occurring number for that variable. So which means that a lot of people are just scoring 3. They have joined inspirational talks for 3 times here. Right. What about standard deviation of here 7.7 for the exam score, which is the digital skills. So you measure people's digital skill, the elder's digital skills in terms of the actual exam score for the digital literacy, right? And you get the mean value is 62, which is not bad. On average, people get a 62 score. The median is 63, the middle value. The most frequently appearing number in the exam score is 70, right? But standard deviation is 7.7. The minimum is 40, the maximum is 7. So the highest score among all the elderly in this sample, in this study, is only 73, and the minimum is 40. So that standard deviation of 7.7 means how much is people who are much above the mean value. Mean value is 62.2, right? How big is the variation of the people who are above 62.2 or below 62.2, because the mean value is 62.2 for the digital skills or the exam score, right? So the larger that standard deviation means, the more variation, which means that some people might score a lot higher than 62.2, some people will score much way below 62.2 to 62.2. Could be like 20 or 30 or even 10, a score of 10. So that is what we mean by standard deviation. Variance have a more or less similar meaning, but just a slightly number. If you see in the PowerPoint slides on lecture 6, variance is actually standard deviation without the square root. So they're calculated in a very similar, but one is with the square, one is with without the square. Maximum minimum is very simple, right? It's just like what is the minimum. For example, here on the age, the minimum age is 65 of this respondent, and the maximum is 82. So it's important to understand your data by looking at the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, maximum, minimum, sum, range. Range means how big is the range. So it's important to understand your data before you do any correlation or any kind of chi-square or any kind of regression, ANOVA, t-test, which we'll show soon. It's important before you do any of those analysis. It's important to do this basic descriptive statistics and understand the nature of your data very well. And then you can write some of your observations on a piece of paper, so to remind you of what you observe from the data, right? And that later will help you to do the next step of analysis. So, and I've just shown you how to produce the descriptive. I've just shown you two ways to produce descriptive statistic analysis. Number one is through the frequencies function in the analyze button, and secondly using the descriptive function through the analyze button, right? And they produce slightly they produce the same result but just slightly different way of presenting the output. But more importantly is we just discussed about how to interpret the meaning of mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, maximum, minimum. If you want to know more how to calculate them, which is the logic behind this calculation, go to the PowerPoint slides for this week's on lecture 6 on descriptive statistics. And I also have provided other web links and video on SPSS how to use different kind of data sets to produce this descriptive statistics output. That's it here. Thank you.